All right. We're at the beginning of week 7. Let's take a quick look at what week 7 is all about. So your adventure game comes due on Wednesday at the end of the day. For those of you who are struggling for ideas or expectations, I did this I got some texts yesterday and responded with this, so let me share this with the rest of you. On Jaguar, let me see if it's still there. They're all gone. Oh, damn it. All right. So I don't know, the administrator must have some automatic script that strips executables out of the temp directory once a day. So you got 1 day. In /temp/adventure these are actually several years old. And I haven't played them, so maybe this isn't a good idea. But these were submitted several years ago. And these are compiled adventures, so you can type /temp/adventure/ and then one of these here, and you can play these. And so you can see there are so that's a funky one. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's see. Let's try a different one. Oops, let's run it. Okay, so this would be, presumably this is a 3-person group, and you can go northwest or east to different people's functions. Look. Try commands. Oh, I did try commands. How about chest? All right, this is an example of what not to do. I'm going to break out of that. Let's try another one. Temp, adventure, how about 2G? No. You've encountered a town. The town appears to be calm and quiet. You need to find your way out of the town in order to reach your destination. I will travel east. East. South. West. West. South. Or that was east. Right, nothing to carry, so you turn back. North. Guesses number 500. 250. Oh, they actually integrated a little game here. It was 1. All right, so you can see that this one at least has a little bit of playability to it. So you get the idea. I think that one, I'm not sure whether I was in one person's area or more than one person's area. I get the feeling that one person made several areas for theirs, which is further than you need to go. But you see the idea, right? You get some description and you interact with it, and you say, and you're given choices, and depending on the choice you make, it has some ramifications on what happens to your hero. All right. So go ahead and look at the rest of those. Clearly, some are better than others. So that's what you have to do. End of day Wednesday. You got a couple labs, arrays and vectors. Probably want to get those. I'd get those done as soon as possible. I don't think you want those hanging over your head with the midterm coming up. Let's see. What were the video bits about? What did we have to do? Oh, the 4 steps. And okay, so arrays happened over a week ago. So there's been a video bits on arrays. I can talk a little bit about vectors today. There's really not a whole lot to talk about for what we need right now, so that'll be pretty straightforward. Midterm on Friday. Any questions about anything? Nothing there? Okay. Then let me talk just a little bit about vectors. So if you want it, let me start with arrays. So the deal with arrays is if you when you create an array, the issue with creating arrays in the language is that you need to know how many elements you want at the time you compile the program. So here I am creating an array of 30 floating point numbers. The problem is, of course, if I need 300, then my program is insufficient to handle the task. So arrays are great if you know exactly how many you need. But if you don't know how many you need, then that's where vectors come in. You have to include information so that the compiler knows what a vector is and how to use it. So that's what you get from that header file. It is in the standard library, so if you, I'm going to comment this out. Oops, wrong language. Comment this out, and just to show what you have to do if you don't put using namespace standard. I'm going to create a vector. And then I have to, in angle braces, I have to say what it's a vector of. I want a vector of floating point numbers. And then you have to name what the variable is. I will name my vector Victor. And then, how about a do while? While number does not equal, I don't know, 99. I'm going to create a float, FL, and then I'm going to say cout. Oh, I need the, again, I commented out this, so I have to put std on everything that's part of the standard library. That's part of the standard library. That's part of the standard library. Enter a float type 99 when done. And then cin into my FL variable. Now I add it to the vector with a function called pushback. And that will keep adding items to it until I type 99. And now I can loop through it. So let me see, for int I equals 0, I is less than the size of Victor plus I, and I can see out Victor sub, then I'll print out I equals and you use it exactly the way you'd use an array, right, which is this bit right here. So if you're accessing the ith element of an array, you would do that. Vectors are designed to behave like arrays, with the advantage that we can make them grow. Now let's give that a try. Let me see, how do I want to do this? Guess we'll do this. Whoops. Oh, I forgot to, what am I doing? Oh, I'm doing FL, not, well, FL does not equal 99. Let me change it to number. Number's nicer. Okay, it compiles. Let me clear the screen, run it. 3.14, 2.95, 88.888939. I'm struggling to think of all the floating point numbers in the world, and I'm struggling to remember some. All right, I'm done. 99. Yep, and included 99 in there. So we can do a little debugging on that. I'd consider that a bug, that it included 99 in there. What should I add in my program here so that I don't push number back onto Victor if the number is equal to 99? If, I like that. Give me the expression that I evaluate here. Number. There you go. That's simple. If the number is at 99, then go ahead and add that, push that number back onto the vector. So pushback is that phrasing is very specific. The idea is that you do have this, I don't want to get my drawing tablet out, you do have this sequence of numbers, 3.14, 2.95, 88.88893, I don't remember what I did. And what you're doing is you're pushing the next one onto the back of that array. That's where that phrasing comes from. Yes?
There's another like vector command like in place back. Like what's the difference? You know?
In place back?
Yeah.
So I go C++ vector.
Well, that's where modifiers.
And place. Ah, and that's new to C++ 11. We don't. We have. There's a bunch of stuff we haven't talked about that prevents me from describing it in under 50 minutes. It's designed. The short answer is it's designed for class objects. So when we get to the fourth project, like having a vector of knights and being able to put a knight on there. Yes.
So when you do push it back, isn't it back to the very last, like the item that's included
That's correct. Back to the end of the list, yeah.
When you pop back, so is it deleting like would recently push back or what was push back? Because it deletes the last element, so
Pop back would get rid of the last element, yes.
it's the one that's being most recently pushed back.
Yes. And in fact, so one of the things that actually this makes a good conversation. What happens after 111? So in 111, we're concentrating on primarily the syntax of the language and the beginnings of problem solving, solving problems using the language. When you get to 211, you start to look at data structures, which is basically you have a whole bunch of things. What are different ways of storing those things? And this idea of push back and pop back is reminiscent of a stack where you think of plates, right? You stack plates on top of each other, and whatever the most recent plate is that you put on is the first to come off when you start popping. So there's actually a data structure called a stack, and that's precisely what it is. The other term for it would be a stack is let me see, I guess first in, last out, or last in, first out, right? The last one that you put in is the first one to come out. So you kind of simulate a stack when you're doing the push back and the pop back. Yeah. Any other questions? Is that, I hope that this code should make it pretty straightforward to go ahead and use vectors. Any other burning questions? No, we're good?
Maybe putting like an array in a vector.
You're so naughty. Putting an array in a vector. I don't know. By golly, I haven't tried that. Let me do this. Copy vector.cpp. So this would be a character, like an array of 10 characters. I don't know. Let's. I don't know what to expect. I think we're just going to have to start with that. Well, you could certainly put a vector in there. Like you could do a. I want to see what the error is. Oops, did I not comment everything? Wait a minute. I could have sworn that we were just looking at an error. Cannot be of non-scalar type. Yep, that won't work. But you should be able to do something like a vector char. Oh, standard, because I had commented out that you can do it that way. Yeah. That's fine.
No. So when you have the you're taking like when you want to get the size of like an array every dot size, will that work like strings too if you want to get the size of a string?
Yeah, good question. A string, a vector is a class that some applications programmer developed sometime in the past. So is a string. That's to contrast with things like float, char, int. Those are all built into the language. String is something that someone had to write, and it does have a size function. Let me go ahead and, since we're doing naughty things with naughty, we'll just reuse that. So I can say string habit equals smoking 2 packs a day. And then I can say cout, standard cout, habit size equals, and let me blow that up. I just say habit. They're actually, so there is a size. Since strings are often, you talk about the length of the string, they actually have a convenience function for strings called length, which is exactly the same as size. So you can go with whichever you prefer. It does not work with arrays. So line 9 is built into the language, right? There's no, this whole idea of putting a dot in a function after it, that's always going to be something that someone wrote. Someone wrote the string class to have a function called length. This is built into the language, and there's no function associated with it. It's just data. But let me, just to make sure I'm not lying, let me go ahead and, I am lying. Yes, my problem is that, let's see all the problems I'm getting for having commented out line 5. Any other questions? All right, so I want to make 100% sure, well, I can never be 100% sure, but as sure as I'm able to have given you every opportunity to succeed at project. Oh, let me talk about the grading. So I normally have a grader, and I've been having great difficulties getting a grader. And I'd ask one of you to be a grader, but there's a bit of ethical consideration there. But I have a few more people that I can hit up to do some grading for me. If I'm unable to do that, then I'll start plotting through the grading myself. This is just by way of excuse that I'm sorry that I don't have your grading caught up, but that's the reasoning. So hopefully in the near future, start looking for more of your projects and so forth to be graded. I am aware of the issue that I'm kind of behind in that, so I acknowledge that. So what I wanted to do is to give you maximal chance of success on project 3. So I'm going to actually stop talking and give you the remaining 25 minutes to get together with your group and work on your project. Polish it up. If you're done with it, you can do a little spell check on it or whatever you need to do. All right.